and or stuff from a kiosk or whatever and get it put in there. It's going to be
I disagree. I think that's exactly it might be all handled on the back end, but that freight is going to be based on quanta, and I think some of that quanta will be your goods that you want to ship from Terra to Stanton, for example, and you don't want to fly it yourself.
I can see that.
I agree.
Well, think about it. Hey, the whole sea, I think I did the math, was like 10 caterpillars. Right?
What?
The SCU of a whole sea is like 10 caterpillars.
Okay.
Right? You know what I'm saying? Right now,
any of those numbers are correct right now.
He said your math sucks.
No,
but even if they are correct,
even if they are,
they haven't updated the.
Well, I mean, going off of where they are now, right? The whole sea is the SCU capacity is 10 caterpillars. I don't see it going down. I see it going up and maybe to carry more, right? So imagine, right? Let's say a load of diamonds in a caterpillar was what, $1 million, or titanium or laranite was $1 million, right? So I don't see money being that free out there for people to be able to even afford that. I mean, that would have to be an entire organization's complete.
No, I don't think. I think you're thinking of it wrong. You're thinking of speculative trading where people do right now. I think what's going to happen is you're going to go to a shipping company, okay, Kovalex, and everyone in the game, right? We're going to go to. We're going to say they're the UPS, right? And there's no other competition right now. So Kovalex, you're going to go there. You're like, I need to ship some ships over to this system. I need to ship some armor over to this system. I need to ship some guns over to this system, etc., etc., etc.
Right.
That's going to go into a list, and then the people who are going to get a mission from Kovalex to move your stuff. Because this game is physicalized, so a ship is going to have to be fit in a container, or armor that's all going to fit in containers. So someone is going to have to move that.
We won't know it.
But the shipper is not going to pay for those items that they're reselling. They're doing it as a shipping service.
Yeah, they'll take one giant load of a bunch of shit.
Right.
And
so
I don't know what it is.
If there was no cargo
stuff.
insurance, if there's no cargo insurance was the point, then it's not about the pilot being so screwed. It's about every single person that had goods that's on that thing, that ship. Yeah, so I think they're going to have cargo insurance was my point.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and you could get like a notice like, hey, FYI, the Valkyrie you were shipping to this system got that cargo, ship got destroyed.
You in Jersey with that cargo. You in Boston with it, that cargo.
In real logistics, we, I worked in cargo, airline cargo for a little bit. In that case, the airline would be responsible for making sure the goods get there.
Saying, but
the insurance,
once that notice goes out, then it has to go into the cycle. Like, okay, well, it's
that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
But like,
because if the aircraft goes down, the items that are on board the aircraft are insured against damage.
Yeah,
cargo. What she was saying, which is
that's
what
cargo
she was saying. What I'm saying is, once that happens, like if you lose your ship in the game anywhere else, it then has to go into no pun intended, has to go into the queue, and then figure out where it is in the factory line. Like, is there one in a lot someplace, or is it like going to take 3 weeks to come out of the factory? And then
and I can't wait. I can't wait for that. Yeah. I really can't wait for those timers to be more realistic than a 3-minute timer. Honestly, I know people are thinking, no, that's gonna suck. I don't think we're gonna be losing ships at the rate that we are right now. I don't think that's the style of gameplay that's going. This is not going to be a Call of Duty pew pew in general. If you want to do that, I think that's what I think that's what the pods are for. They're bringing back the Arena Commander pods and whatnot. What is it called? Not Arena Commander. What
the simulator
thing? AC. What does AC stand for?
Arena Commander.
Arena Commander.
Oh yeah, okay. So yeah, the AC pods that we used to have in our hangars. Now they're at Microtech. We can't use them right now, but they're back in the game, which is a good sign. Because I think they know people want to pew pew. They want to have that kind of fun. But the realistic, if you played a Call of Duty style or a Planet Side style, you would go broke in this game because the cost for ships every time you blew up, the cost of gear, the cost.
Yeah.
So you would have to be just so much better than everyone else to actually be able to do that. I think for the most part, pew pews are going to happen in the virtual environment.
Well, I call
Yeah.
that SC.
The thing I learned today is that I need a clip of pews saying pew pew. That's what I need.
And I'm not saying that's not going to exist. You're gonna run into bad guys. You're gonna run into NPCs. You're gonna run into people who want to shoot you. But I'm just saying, compared to Stanton of the last year, where you know, it was, you couldn't even get out of the hangar without someone shooting at you. I don't think that's going to be the gameplay.
Yeah, no, I don't.
You're absolutely right, because that's why they're talking about theaters of war. Like literally, that's why they're like, yeah, theaters of war is going to be for the people that do want to get in real quick, play something.
Yeah, get a little battle in, and then go to work or go to sleep or tend to their kids.
On Spectrum this week, I called out Star Marine. I'm like, why is it there? Like, you guys haven't touched it. Yeah, if it's a placeholder for tow, then
here.
They have.
I think it's a great way for them to test some things.
But you're wrong. I'm sorry, I have to call you. They did touch it. They added a new map not that long ago.
Oh yeah,
you're right. Yeah.
Doctor.
Yes.
Which is also
They're gonna be. They're gonna be adding. No, but listen, if the whole thing is broken, it's an alpha. Everything is gonna be kind of broken. But like they're gonna add more stuff from the lore. Like the Good Doctor map is from the planet Maya in the Lear system, Lear 2, not Lear 3.
Yeah, it's basically the cult planet.
Yeah, and so they're gonna keep adding on to both Star Marine and Theaters of War with stuff from the lore. That's gonna be one of the ways that you are introduced to the lore. Yeah,
which I think is great. I like that system.
Okay, but I played Star Marine pretty like a good deal, like 2 years ago plus, and it was great. You'd have like 20 people on the server, like just going back and forth. Great time. I played the Good Doctor like a couple months ago, I think, and it was like you would walk outside and you were like blinded by just straight white screen. And
oh no!
And you were like, if I was
man, that bugs in the PU too.
I would die.
Hey guys,
it was that bad. And I went into the PU. I went into Star Marine like 2 days ago, and it brings you into your PU uniform with your gun on your back. And if you get killed with your gun on your back, you lose it because you spawn without your gun.
That's a bug. Reported on that.
No, I talked about it.
I just hope they do a little quality of life improvements with the arena commander, simply because with death now having a penalty coming up, it's going to have a real penalty coming up, and it would be nice to have a place where people could practice without those penalties.
That's literally why I started
making the map bigger and bringing other improvements.
Yeah, I'm just saying I really hope that it's not just talk.
Yeah, I hope so.
We've all been around the
literally that's why though I started Quantanium mining now, because like I want to get used to Quantanium now, you know, where if I accidentally blow up my ship and I blow up myself, it's not that big a deal. And like then in like practice, you know, in 3.15 where there's more stakes or something like that. I feel like everybody right now who wants to learn how to like fly, wants to learn how to dogfight should do it now, or at least in Arena Commander.
Here's the thing though, okay? Honestly, and I'm gonna play the other side of the coin here, okay? Honestly, I come from Eve, and I think a lot of us do, as a matter of fact. We know just how terrible people can be to one another.
I am gorgeous to other people.
Right? I mean, a saint.
And I honestly think that's probably going to be more toward the case. I don't think that Pew Pew is going to be as limited as people think.
Not as limited? What do you mean?
I don't think it's going to be as,
uncommon.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be as uncommon as people think. I think it's going to be a lot more common, especially on the frontier systems.
I agree, but I think that's only because this is tier 0.
Yeah.
Look at how big the planets. Just look at how big a moon is.
Oh, I know.
That's no moon.
I mean, that's the one thing that's making it a lot harder.
I think it's gonna be a little more uncommon than you think. Just personally, if Quanta works properly, the way that Tony Z has said, you're on the frontier. When you lose your ship, how long is it going to take you to get a replacement? Mm-hmm. I think the system itself, the frontier resources, are going to limit how risky you are going to be with your equipment. I just think that's going to be the case.
To a logical person, yes.
No, that's true. That's true. There's always people who want to be, you know.
On what you mean by frontier. As a Levski resident, you know, they have a decent amount of infrastructure. So that's outside the UEE, but it's also, something a lot of people would consider a frontier system next.
Do you guys miss Levski?
But it also partially depends on how many people you think is actually going to play the game, and the game goes launches. Once you get the server messing in and all that stuff, how many people do you think are going to play, and how many people you think are going to be in the system?
That's a good question. Yeah. Are you guys actually interested in Theaters of War?
Oh yeah.
I'm interested for content.
Yeah. Like there's so many people that come from like Eve or something like that, but I never played any spacefaring game really like that. I was a Battlefield player.
Yeah,
so were we. But the reason we're interested in Theater War isn't because of the space side. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with there's two different types of gaming that you may or may not want to do. There's the times when you have 45 minutes because of life and you want to jump in and actually have fun, and you're not going to jump in the PU in 45 minutes barely get out of a city.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? You're going to want to jump in and just have some fun that night. So I think it's two different audiences, and they need it, because otherwise, even hardcore players, after a while, if you need to dedicate 2 to 3 hours just to have any amount of fun, they're going to stop playing.
Yeah,
it's going to be a gateway to Star Citizen for a lot of people that you don't normally play space games.
Do you think that if it is a gateway, do you think that once they figure out what the real game is, that they'll stick around?
Depends. If they're jumping in with their friends, they're going to continue to do that with Star Citizen, because their friends are playing with them. But yeah, if they're just a solo player that's just, they just want to go in and pew, they'll probably stick to Theaters of War.
Yeah, there's a time.
Yeah, the hope is that Theaters of War is a complete experience, right?
I was just saying, like, you got 3 games here. You've got they all have time requirements. You've got your TOW. You've got your Squadron 42. You can play, save. That's where I was. I'm gonna go, continue my master's degree, come back, reload,
continue my master's degree. I'm gonna do my dissertation.
Yeah.
To go off of the Eve comment is like, okay, well, and the Frontier stuff, if it takes you, like we were talking about inventory, you only have so much stuff in this ship and only stuff's in that ship. Like, if you're going into a fight, you really gotta commit. And this is what Griff talks about. Like, he says that people might just stop fighting and be like, okay, I'm just gonna like walk away. And I lost, so I'm just gonna like wash my hands of it and call it a day. So.
Well, and I think there's a lot, even in Eve, there are areas where, even though it's technically possible for you to be attacked, if you're in a large enough org and you're in the center of that territory, you're not getting messed with. If you're in if you're in super high sec, yes, someone could, if they wanted to be, they could be, but they're not getting away with it. You know what I'm saying? So it's self-limiting.
Honestly, though, it matters in that. Okay, a lot of people think you're going to lose something, which you are. Okay, but the thing is coming at this from an Eve perspective, it's risk versus reward. Is something I'm gonna kill worth more than I'm gonna lose? If so, I'm gonna do it.
I mean, and to your point about high sec being not safer, but you'll lose something in high sec because you're attacking. I mean, if someone is mining in a 3 million-ish miner, and it can be destroyed by like a 100K-ish fighter. That's not much of a loss to the attacker. So it's something like that happens in Star Citizen.
But Star Citizen has the death of a spaceman that they're trying to attempt to make it so that constant death over and over. So if you become a kamikaze, you're eventually. You're going to lose a lot, not just the $10,000 ship. What you
and you have a robotic PP.
It goes to your not the person who your next kin. That's what I want to say.
I'm assuming there's going to be taxes. It's not just going to be a free give me. I mean, that's the whole point. Why do it? Why do it if it's just a free gimme?
Well, I don't know how many people are going to do this, but. With that in mind, I will have what I call red shirt alts. that will be
Those are
able to
disposable people.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, no, they don't really own. They don't own much more than maybe a Cuddy Black. You know what I'm saying? And you know, anything else, you know, anything that they do, if whatever happens. You know what I'm saying? And whatever they get comes back to the main.
And I think that makes for a fair gameplay, because what ends up happening is you don't just have a random nobody who happens to be in their prospector just putting around. That's not worth the cost in general. It would be someone trying to go after another org member, you know, from a different org, trying to, you know, reduce their resources, or there's usually a reason for them to take that loss, even with one of the red shirt characters, right? There's got to be a reason for it. So your average player that's just out there putting around isn't going to get rammed in high sec just out of nowhere. Not in general speaking, right?
Well,
it does kind of self-limit that.
No, to that I have to say no. The gamers, in particular, the Star Citizen community kids, right now, there are people that just want to see the world burn. All they want to do is ruin somebody's day. You know, they're sad boys that
sad boys.
Don't treat them well. So they just want to piss off somebody else because it makes them feel like they have a little bit of control of their meaningless life.
Or they're middle-aged men that work at UPS.
Who don't have control.
I don't know why I feel like I want to say I work there. I don't, but I just want to say
sad boys don't have an age limit.
Sad boys.
Okay.
Sad boy, sad boy.
And we talked about this. We talked about this on our stream just the other night. Matter of fact, it was Black Intellect that brought it up and asked me all these questions, because like he's been in the stream enough to know that I used to play a PvP-oriented game called Astron's Call. No penalties for murdering someone. And when they died, it was like Star Citizen's going to be. They drop their body with all their loot. You can just loot it and steal their shit and go away. Yeah. And you can do it in the middle of town. There was no penalties whatsoever. The game gave you no penalties, right? And I was part of an organization. Me and my best friend run it. We were the assholes. Now, looking back, I would ask myself, why the hell would I be that kind of person? I don't know. I don't understand now, looking back. Why would I do that? How was that fun? Because to my current self, that's dumb. Why would making someone else's day bad be entertaining? It's such a backwards. So I don't even get it. Being someone who's done it before, I don't understand the logic.
Well, but just know that there are still plenty of people out there that have not come to that revelation.
No, that's true.
So let's think about then, how do you work through that then? Like how are these people, like if they're ramming ships and doing that, how are they affording it if the economy is wiped and they're not spending all their time gathering money in game?
In the short term, they're not.
They're claiming ships and waiting.
Yep.
Dude, there is an eBay market for AEUC.
Well, in our case, what ended up stopping or halting us, or at least limiting our shenanigans, was in a world where you have server meshing going forward. Your Restaurant's Call had thousands of people playing together, and you're in an org with 30, 40 people that are quote unquote bad guys. And then you run up against an org or into territory where there's a 1,000, 2,000 person org where at any given time has 250 people on, and they call to arms and they ruin your week. You know, that also happens. The opposite.
Like oh yeah,
you know, that also did happen.
That's the thing with Eve, okay? Put it this way. I still take part in, if you are in territory, which in low sec, in Eve, it's because I've been in null sec too, so it had clearly defined boundaries. But in low sec, the boundaries are much more amorphous. Okay, and so you don't exactly know whose territory you're in at any one given time easily. So people have strayed into our territory, and we've sat there in ships that are jump capable to a Sino and went, all right, light it, and we go and wreck their ship. Now anymore, okay, if it's somebody that I'm like, yeah, this is a good kill, I will actually toss them cash to help them replace their ship. And some, like the last one I did, okay, their ship was like 31 mil, I tossed them 40 mil. I'm like, here, you know what, thanks for the content, and I will actually replace the stuff.
Well, so you are in the extreme minority of a lot of the folks that are doing. Again, you have people that just want to get on and ruin other people's day because it makes them feel better about theirs.
Oh yeah,
that's just it. That's it. It makes them feel better about theirs, right? They don't care about anything else. They're going to figure out a way. They don't care about the fact that they'll get a crime stat and can't land anywhere. So, what
is that gameplay?
For them, it is.
Like, what if there's a heat map? You know, like, and I feel like they've talked about a heat map of some sort. I could be wrong.
There is one. Right
I don't know everything.
Yeah, for them,
like,
it's a game.
If there's a heat map and I'm a solo prospector miner, I'm looking at the heat map. I'm seeing there's like PvP shit going on at Port Olisar, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna plan my quantum route around the shit.
Yeah.
You know, and that turns into gameplay for me because like now I'm like, you know, I'm coming up with strats to get around it. You know, maybe I'm asking a friend to, escort me.
What I think they should do.
The worst.
I always knew you messed with escorts.
A couple things that I think that they should do. One thing they should really do is they have to make the space station weapons 100 times more powerful.
Yeah, agree with that. Agree with that.
Just make them hit
way more accurate.
And accurate, yes. Please.
De-res them.
Trust me, if you sit there in a ship,
He said de-res.
with station guns. If you sit there in a ship right now with station guns shooting you, they are size 7 weapons. They hurt.
Yeah, some of them are the outer ones are size 7.
That's part of being more powerful.
And they can never hit you.
My question. Yeah.
That's part of being more powerful, right? Make them a real deterrent to, you know what I'm saying, to people.
That's what I'm saying. Make them hit scan weapons and solve all the problems.
They can already
hit
scale
you
up.
eventually.
Yeah, they can already scale up the AI, and they can max it. So if they want to do 95%, they'll hit you like 95% of the time or whatever. So all they have to do is scale it up, which is a great idea.
Scale it up and make them missile pods. Just
make them beam weapons.
Just so girl and
make the only beam weapons in game.
And the cute understand what we're talking about. Like, just to give you an idea, there was there was a bar citizen that we had, or Soul Citizens had, and this guy that we had on the stream was like, he was a FedEx or UPS person. That doesn't matter because those are good companies, one way or the other. But he was like, oh yeah, I used to go to like high sec areas and just like kill farmers and stuff like that. So like if you had a person in Star Citizen and he just wanted to be a farmer on some like peaceful planet, he's like he had no qualms about just going there and like killing somebody. And we're like, dude, really? He just like wants to like pick potatoes or something like that. Like, why would you do that?
That's the thing. Ultimately, though, okay, is
some people
we
are
can
dicks.
Build bases. We can build bases in Star Citizen, okay? We'll eventually have that ability. Thing is, okay, if you have potatoes and I'm competing with you in the potato market,
oh my god.
Suddenly maybe I just don't like the color of your ground. Maybe you're producing subpar potatoes. I will hire
subpar potatoes.
I will hire an A2 and have it come level your base.
Well, again, you are putting logic, reason, and understanding behind the reason why you would blow somebody up.
Wait, what I'm hearing is you don't like the color of the ground. Are you ground racist?
Like, you can't put that in no lays.
All right. I don't know if that makes a difference, though. I mean, yes, you're going to be able to attack other players, but again, there's supposed to be a cost benefit. Is the whole point of what Tony Z has said. So every time we compare like what happened in Eve, where there's no benefit like that. There's no system in the background trying to limit how safe or how unsafe somewhere is. Where they made it very clear they are going to do that here. If you're in Terra, I mean, just when you think about turning on your guns, they're going to shoot you type of deal. I have a feeling. I don't think that your average person is just going to get messed with day in and day out.
Yeah, Terra security going to be coming out there real fast.
Bethart brought up a point, and now I'm thinking about these purple potatoes that I saw at one point.
Okay, so it won't be an everyday occurrence.
No.
It won't be an everyday occurrence, but it may be like a once in a while occurrence, and that once in a while, it's still annoying.
Oh yeah,
maybe like once a month, or maybe once every 2 weeks.
It is. Can I ask you guys this? How many of you guys do either mining or trading in Star Citizen?
I do.
Does anybody do trading right now?
Attacked by a pirate.
Never.
I haven't been yet.
An NPC pirate?
That's my point right there. That's my point right there.
the thing is,
From
there's only
3.0
people
till
in- people
3.3,
in
I
the
used to
server
get
now.
attacked by NPC pirates.
Oh
There's
boy.
no people in the server now. We're talking about when the game launches, you'll have like hundreds of people in one system.
But we're
Here's the
also
thing that
talking
I've
about
told
the
people.
last year. The last year has been dominated on the
PvP.
Twitch stream with PvP. Nerd, Moist Noodle, his whole crew. I mean, it's been dominated. It's been nothing but chatter on Spectrum about these specific individuals intentionally attacking traders and miners. Yet every time I try to find people who have actually been attacked by these guys, you can't find them. Does
Dude,
it happen?
be
Yeah, but
smart
it's
about
not
it,
in
man.
every
It's been a
game.
long time. Well,
So,
trading, you can't
air
put trading in that because trading has been dead for so long. Nobody's
Always
attacking
going to
traders.
be vast. Space is vast. It's always going to be vast.
And space
I
is
think
big.
These player these player interactions.
Yeah.
Ascard said 100 people in a system. That's nothing.
That's
Yeah.
I know that's
nothing.
nothing.
Right.
I mean, honestly,
That's still going to be very empty as far as how likely you would be to run into another
yeah, and
player.
honestly, in the end, it all depends. One of the things is scanning. Okay, how
Yeah.
easy are you gonna make scanning other
Mhm.
ships down? Okay, if they make it like easy, I'll be on you in a minute.
I think in addition
Wherever
to that,
you are
though,
in system, I'll be on you.
in addition to that,
I'm getting attacked mining right now.
No, wait, what's
I'm
Don't
not
mind
lying.
their outposts.
I'll
Don't
stop
mind their
shooting you
points
right
of
now.
interest.
So in addition to that, I think the where CR, if he is actually maintaining his momentum with it, is he may actually use or continue with the design of Freelancer, right? Because everything he's done with Star Citizen, he's just been fleshing out what we've seen in Freelancer. And if that's the case, we may see the same interaction or the same chances of interaction in Freelancer multiplayer with regards to AI and players compared to Eve. Because if you were to go with the same game design as Freelancer, we may be having to worry more about AI than actual players, no matter how populated the system may be. Because the thing is, if you were a trader or a miner in Freelancer, you'd be looking out for AI. You'll be much more scared for AI popping up, right?
Yeah, I was
Especially
gonna
in
say
the more
that
dangerous
too,
environments.
Colorado.
That's why that heat. That's why that heat map is would be a really helpful thing to have access to. And the heat map could be
They're
an
not
actual
going
heat map,
to.
or the
That's
heat
not
map could just
correct.
be crime reports, in the news or something. Like you look up on your Moby Glass and see like Port Olisar, heavy attacks, blah blah blah. Like that.
That'd be interesting.
What he said was true, though. That what you're going to be more afraid of is the NPCs. Even that game I was talking about before, Ashron's Call, NPCs were really what you're afraid of. In general, I think the percentage of people who will actively be assholes is small. It is comparatively small, the percentage. There's a lot of people who may be grumpy from day to day, but the people who actually do it regularly is going to be pretty small because it takes a level of skill in this game to be a bad guy. It actually takes a level of skill.
Yeah.
I said it before. Like, I think the first bunch of games go live is gonna be hell.
It's gonna be
Because a lot of people
hard.
just coming in and doing all this stuff. But I think the solo players who can't find orgs or don't find orgs, they'll go on to play another game. So I think the first bunch of shows is gonna be hard, but later on it'll be more like you think.
Go off of like fast cards, like 100 person thing. It's like, and when we talk about the NPCs, like, okay, so let's just say Stanton. Stanton should have, in those regards, 900 active players, like who are doing things, not just people behind like a counter, like selling you stuff. They should be like doing mining themselves and like attacking miners and stuff.
Oh, I know.
So yeah, so that's like, and also like, the Xeno threat. As long as AI keeps getting improved and those hit percentages go up, then NPC orgs and all the other orgs, the real player orgs, are gonna have some issues with NPCs. So yeah, a lot more than Eve and stuff like that.
I'm hoping we will see a lot of battle between rogue NPCs from people, but also from like other like Vandal. I'm hoping we get to deal with that in the PU as well.
Yeah, I really do. Honestly,
Like,
one of
Oh snap!
go on.
I was gonna say,
Go
talking
fast.
about,